Turkey is hiding an underground city so big it held 20,000 people, and nobody found it until a man knocked down a wall in his own basement. That was back in 1963. He followed the hole he'd made, then found a room and another room and another. He hadn't found a basement. He had accidentally rediscovered a massive lost city hidden 18 stories deep in the earth. This is Derinkuyu in Turkey. It was built to hold 20,000 people, their livestock, and their food, all completely hidden from the world above. But who built it, and what were they running from? Today, we are going deep underground and high into the sky to discover the secrets of Turkey. If you stay with me until the very end, I'll show you the only city on Earth where you can eat breakfast in Europe and lunch in Asia without ever leaving town. Imagine living your whole life without ever seeing the sun. That is exactly what happened in Turkey's underground cities during times of war and invasion. Discovery. Fact 1. The giant stone doors of Derinkuyu. The people of this underground city didn't use wooden doors that could be chopped down or burned. Instead, they carved massive circular stones that weighed up to 1,000 pounds. These stones were designed like giant wheels sitting in a groove. They could only be rolled shut from the inside. If an enemy managed to find the secret entrance, they would be met with an unbreakable wall of rock with a tiny hole in the center, just big enough for a defender to poke a spear through. Discovery. Fact 2. The air straws. How did 20,000 people, and their cows, goats, and horses, breathe while living 18 stories deep underground? The engineers of ancient Turkey carved over 15,000 ventilation shafts that acted like giant straws reaching all the way to the surface. Even at the very bottom floor, 280 feet down, the air was as fresh as a spring breeze. They even designed the shafts to double as secret wells, but made sure the wells didn't connect to the surface in every room. Why? So that if an enemy tried to poison the water from above, the people deep below would stay safe. If the underground of Turkey is a maze, the surface looks like another planet entirely. And this is where Cappadocia comes in. Nature's skyscrapers of Cappadocia. In this region of Turkey, the landscape is dotted with strange tall rock formations that people call fairy chimneys. Millions of years ago, volcanic eruptions covered the land in ash that hardened into soft rock. Over time, wind and rain washed away the softer parts, leaving behind these incredible towers that look like giant stone mushrooms or melting candles stretching toward the sky. Homes in the clouds. Early humans realized this volcanic rock in Cappadocia was soft enough to carve with simple hand tools. Instead of building houses on the ground, they carved their entire lives inside these stone towers, kitchens, bedrooms, even beautiful churches right into the cliffs. Some of these cave houses are still used as luxury hotels today. In 2026, travelers from all over the world come to sleep inside mountains that were hand-carved by families over 1,000 years ago. At sunrise, the sky fills with hundreds of colorful hot air balloons, creating a view that looks more like a dream than real life. For a long time, history books told us that humans didn't start building giant stone structures until they learned how to farm and settle down into villages. But a place in Turkey called Göbekli Tepe proves the history books are completely wrong. Discovery. Fact 3. Göbekli Tepe, the world's first temple. This site was discovered in southeastern Turkey and dates back over 11,000 years. To put that in perspective, this temple is twice as old as the pyramids in Egypt and 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. It consists of massive T-shaped stone pillars arranged in huge circles, and many of them are decorated with incredibly detailed carvings of lions, scorpions, vultures, and spiders. The great mystery of Göbekli Tepe. How did Stone Age hunter-gatherers, people who didn't even have metal tools, pottery, or the wheel, move stones that weighed up to 20 tons? In 2026, archaeologists are still unearthing new sections of the site, and the more they find, the more they realize that ancient humans were far more organized and technologically advanced than we ever imagined. It wasn't farming that brought people together to build cities. It was the desire to build something magnificent like this. So, what is the most amazing thing about Turkey? It's the only place on Earth where you can eat breakfast in Europe and lunch in Asia without ever leaving the city limits. Istanbul, the split city. Istanbul in Turkey is the ultimate bridge between worlds. It is built on 2 different continents, separated by a thin, glittering strip of water called the Bosphorus. For thousands of years, every great king and emperor, from the Romans to the Ottomans, wanted this city, because whoever controlled Istanbul controlled the gateway between the East and the West. Even today, you can hop on a ferry and cross from one continent to another in just 15 minutes. The Trojan Horse. Did you know the famous story of the Trojan Horse actually happened in Turkey? You can visit the ruins of the ancient city of Troy on the northwest coast, a place where myths and real history are buried in the same soil. In 2026, new excavations are still revealing layers of the city that were destroyed by fire and war over 3,000 years ago. It reminds us that Turkey isn't just a country. It's a giant storybook where every hill has a secret. Turkey is a land of layers. One layer is a modern, bustling city. The next is a Greek ruin, and deep below that is a hidden underground city waiting to be explored. Would you be brave enough to spend a night 18 stories under the earth? Or would you rather float in a hot air balloon over the Fairy Chimneys of Cappadocia? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed because in our next discovery, we are climbing high into the mountains of Peru to find a city that was lost in the clouds for 400 years. See you on the next discovery.